Welcome to the Moto podcast, where we bring you stories from veterans and first responders and their experiences. The good, the bad, the stupid, and of course, the funny. I'm your host, Mark Camp. Let's dive right in. Today, I'm joined by my fellow brother in arms and good buddy, Dalton O'Brien.
Yep.
How's we arrived here yesterday, got to experience a little of your city and
Yeah, good old Longview, huh?
yeah, Longview. Yeah, but you're looking at potentially moving to Gladewater.
Gladewater, yeah.
Gladewater. Okay, my bad. That's a laziness. I've been catching people's laziness in their accents here. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna cop that. I'm gonna take
Fair
that.
enough.
No, so for anybody that's just watching it for the first time or listening, wherever you get your podcast, the essential order of operations. I know, do Marine Corps.
Analytical.
Yeah. Anyways, so essentially, what I'm gonna do is just ask questions about the individual that I have on, their upbringing, their time, what drew them to service, and then their time in service, and then how the transition process was, and then afterwards, looking at what you're doing now. Where are they at now? You know, I always wonder about that with child stars, the little fuck ups. Anyways, no. So you're originally from Texas, my understanding. Yeah.
Hallsville. So it's about actually, 20 minutes from Longview towards the east.
Say the name again.
Hallsville.
Hallsville. Okay. Mm-hmm. What kind of brought you out here?
But nothing really, to be honest with you. The fact that we found a place to rent in Longview was just the way to do it. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to your marriage and of course kids. I look forward to having that conversation here in a little bit. But let's just start out. How was your upbringing? Did you have the mother and father? Was it
Yeah.
single parent?
My parents were divorced.
Okay.
So I think they divorced when I was 5. I think.
So 2 Christmases, 2.
Yeah. So you got 2 of everything, and then did all that pretty much all the way up into the Marine Corps. And then as soon as the Marine Corps happened, the mother split. I don't have relations with that one anymore, but my father's always had my back since day one. So
You're a junior, right? Or am I?
no. So
okay.
my dad is William Michael.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
William
that's
Dalton.
right.
Yeah.
See, it's funny when we first met and you were a junior Marine. It was William. Your name is Dalton William O'Brien, right?
It's actually William Dalton.
Yeah. See, that's the confusion because I was like, dude, okay, why does everybody call you Dalton? You know, like all this stuff. But
Yeah. Well, my dad, since he kind of wanted to go by William, everybody always called him Billy by the surname. And he didn't want me to be called Billy or Bill or whatever kind of crap. So, I just went by Dalton and been doing that ever since.
it's worked out well
So far.
so far.
We got a long way to go.
You're still young.
Yeah.
We're both still young. No, the what kind of got you interested in the Marine Corps? I know it's crazy when you do the comparison between where I'm from, where I was raised up in Oregon, and you do the comparison over here, how many, percentage-wise,
Right.
way more individuals. I feel like the Marine Corps gets a lot of Texans.
Yeah.
What kind of drew you to that?
Well, first of all, when I was younger, the uniform it is the most badass uniform. You can't compare it to any other branch. However, my stepbrother, Blake Lucius, he went into the Marine Corps, radio operator.
Yep.
With 1st and 5th Angle Co. So I got to kind of see him go through Afghan and all that kind of
How
stuff.
much older was he than you?
Oh, shit. I think he's almost 40 now.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, so...
Yeah, so
10
he
years,
was,
little-
I think
little
he
bit
was in Afghan, I'm thinking like 11 or 12, I think, so around that time frame. And then, but yeah, so I got to kind of see a lot of that. And yeah, man, once I hit high school, I just kind of knew. I just wanted to be a Marine.
Yeah, similar thing, dude. I used to, when I was a kid, I just hear somebody was Marine. Because, again, in Oregon, way smaller percentage of people ever join. But then out of that, 0.0025, whatever. I used to have the numbers like the back when I was a recruiter. And you just hear somebody who's Marine, you're like, you kind of fall back a little bit. You're like, oh, okay, shoot. Like, man's got it together. So I definitely agree with you on that side. What was so little backstory for anybody that's listening or watching that doesn't know. You were actually one of my junior Marines after my first deployment in Afghan.
Yep.
What was that entire? I know it seems like a blur. A lot of people are like, "Oh, 4 years, it takes forever," but like, you really think about it, that stuff just flies.
Yeah, it flew by.
Yeah.
Really and truthfully. So you trying to ask me what it was like being under you, or
No. Just in general, being a junior Marine, because it's such a weird thing. The reason why I bring this up is because I was talking to a guy that I didn't put in the Marine Corps. It was one of my buddies that did, and he reached out. He's going through his hard spot. He's in logistics. Ended up being stationed on the depot, right? Yeah, and he's like, dude, I just want to go back to what I was doing before, like all this stuff, just disheartened. And so, like, what was your entire experience like coming up?
Man, the best way that I can explain it. All right, you go to boot camp. You're the lowest of the low. You graduate. It's an emotional roller coaster. You graduate, you're a Marine, right? So you got all these feelings going on. You're at the top. And, like, for me, for instance, you go to the School of Infantry. And, bam, right back at the fucking bottom. Then you graduate. You're back on top. You know what I mean? And as soon as you get back on top, you go to 3-7.
3rd Battalion, 7 Marines, no shit.
And you're right back at the bottom. So you're going to go through those low times. You have to go through the low times. And even when you become a senior Marine, there's still low times. Found that out the hard way. So I think your career, and I don't think that's just military alone. I think that's probably everywhere, civilian side field as well. Yeah. You're going to have your started from the bottom, now I'm here, and you got to keep climbing that ladder. And I think everybody, as long as you can understand that time never stops, and you just push forward. That's all you can do.
It's waves, man.
Yeah, that's all it
waves.
is.
You go through some really big highs and some really big lows.
Yeah,
because like it's crazy. It's changed. That the entire dynamics changed when it comes down to being a senior Marine, because we're technically no longer in a conflict, although there's American troops all over everywhere. Yeah. But it's weird because when I was, and yourself too, you were a boot in boot status. You were called a boot because you're just fresh out of boot camp,
right? Until
you got your first deployment,
right?
And you're like, then I made it. It's the same thing. Oh, I made it. I made it in boot camp.
I made it.
Oh, I made it through SOI. I made it through my schoolhouse. And then you get to your unit, you get to SOI, you get to these different respective places, you get to the deployment, you come back from the deployment, you're like, I made it, but in reality, there's still so much growth that has to happen.
A lot.
It's kind of nuts. I just kind of want to touch on this. How much of your peer group, or the group of guys that you came into the unit with and served with, have you kept in touch with? I'm not gonna call you out. This is me wanting to know this. Probably gonna get cut.
2.
But okay.
2. But that's a double-edged sword, because none of the other fellers have ever reached out to me. And I haven't reached out to them. To be honest with you, I think Allingham and Darrington are the ones that I try to. Allingham, I try to call, and every time he calls, I miss it, and then we end up playing phone tag. Yeah. But those are really the only 2. I mean, you've called. I think we talked to
Tyler Harold.
Yep.
And then Timothy Lynch.
And O'Connor too was there.
And O'Connor was on the phone, but I wasn't there.
But man,
no. Okay, funny story about this. O'Connor actually took me to a backwoods strip club, like in the backwoods. Like it was bordering from. So he lives in Illinois. It was bordering just north, just like right on the border. And we're like, dude, I'm like, where are you taking me? You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen this guy in some years. This is on my trip coming. When I got out, I was moving from New Jersey back to Oregon.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I got a place. I was like, and Bradley, whenever he says, I got a place. I'm like, okay. So he takes me to this strip club. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. I'm like, dude, this is wild. It was a good time. I won't get into the details about it, but it was a good time.
Lord,
it was a good
mercy.
time. But yeah. No, it's just, it's weird because I call it, I refer to it as by proxy relationships. The moment you get back into proximity of the person, the relationship is right there.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it never left. Like life could have changed, and you're going to catch up about that.
Yeah.
But like it's by proxy relationships.
Right.
Where you're, you haven't seen a person in a hot second. When's the last? It was 2018 when I was headed out to New Jersey for recruiting. That was the last time I saw you, face to face. Yeah.
2018 was a year, buddy.
28. You went through a lot during 2018.
That was a year and a half.
Yeah. So we can get to that. Overall, what was your entire experience like in the Marine Corps? And so the really good question I used to get asked when I was a recruiter is like, do you ever regret it? And the answer logically, I think, is no.
No.
Could you have done things a little bit different? But then it goes back to,
okay, sure, but
you wouldn't be the same person.
No,
you wouldn't have gained the same knowledge. You wouldn't have experienced what you did.
I think the Marine Corps, for me, overall, was a good experience. It had its bads, like we talked about earlier, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. There's nothing. You can't trade these experiences for anything in the world. I mean, it's just, no, I'm going to hang on to that for the rest of my life.
100%.
And it's something that we earned. I mean, you earned the title first off, and then you earned, whether you did 4 or 20 or 50, you earned that because you work it.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, physically, you work it almost 24/7.
We had quite the experience. So we did 2 tours together. The first one was in Jordan, TAMJ, Train Advised Mission Jordan. We're helping Jordanians, essentially instructing them on how to do mortar operations and infantry operations as well, rifleman operations, to ensure that the Syrians would not invade into there because it was a hostile region at that time. I'm just saying this for the listeners, not so much for you. But and then the follow-on one was kind of very unique. I call it the most unique deployment I ever had, and I think when I compare notes to other people, I think it's kind of wild. So let's talk about the first one. I actually still have a photo of you, me, Ali, Hassan, and Abdullah
I still have it
to
too.
the right of my office.
Yeah.
And I think back on that. It's like it's one of 2 photos that I have. One is the first deployment pic, Moto pic, and that's the second one. And I'm like, dude, what was that experience like for you being in because you had never left. My understanding, you'd never left Texas up until that point, right? Or did you travel around when you were?
I mean, I've been to Florida and stuff like that, but I mean, leaving the United States, yeah.
It's a wild one.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, whether you're deploying to a known combat zone or not a known combat zone, the fear of the unknown is still there.
100%.
You can't get past that. I don't care how much of a badass you think you are, how much training you had. That fear of the unknown is real, and it's a pit.
I think it's really interesting. I was hearing somebody speak about this the other day. I think it's actually really beneficial if you respect that fear.
Oh, 100%.
If you respect that fear, and you do, you and I both do. But if you don't respect that fear, it will nip you in the ass. Because pride begets the fall, right? Like, I think back. This lives rent free in my mind. I think back to. Do you remember when we went down to southern portion of Jordan?
Yeah.
And we did that field mission, whatever. We're driving back. I don't know. I think you could tell a story better about the wedding party. That was.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Craziest driving I've ever experienced was in Jordan by far. Passing through Amman.
Yeah. Yeah. We had, what's his name? Can't remember his name. Tall fella. Always wore his flak without a shirt on. We were driving through downtown Amman.
I love how you had to just give that depiction for me. I was like, I know exactly.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're driving downtown Amman, and he puts on a face covering, and he goes, "If y'all don't want to get caught, put this shit on." We're driving downtown Amman, driving like assholes. I mean, almost pushing people off the road. People are throwing stuff at the vehicle. It was rough. Yeah.
My favorite one was my favorite part of that journey, which I hated, but looking back, right? It's really interesting. I say this, I think about this all the time. It's like the stuff that we thought was shitty at that moment is the stuff we reflect back on and we're like,
yeah,
dude, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was actually, anyways, but so we're driving down and all of a sudden our vehicle just hits a stopping point. Like all the vehicles in front are stopped. and guys literally pop out, guys and girls, whatever. Apparently, it's a wedding party. It's the way that the Jordanians celebrate weddings. In a lot of Middle Eastern countries I've come to know
I don't remember
is that they pull out, literally get out of the vehicle. And do you remember the AK-47s just blaring off?
Oh shit, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the wildest thing. I was like, I'm literally gripping my gun. This is my second deployment. I was just in Afghanistan. I'm like, I'm gripping, just like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm
right.
like, but I don't want to. I don't want to shoot innocent people. Like that's not ever what we want. But like, dude, y'all point that thing at me. I'm shooting first.
100%.
It's not to say that everybody's like that in the Marine Corps, but that's
the vast fucking majority. Yeah.
vast majority.
Well, that we were around. You got to think, what Marine Corps infantry is 30% of the population of the Corps.
I think it's even less now.
Really?
With the downsizing and everything. I don't know. I used to know these numbers like crazy.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
Ever since I stopped recruiting, I was like, there's no point.
Right.
No, so that was a funny moment in Jordan, that deployment. And then I look back on it. Do you remember when I made all those videos, the negligent discharge production?
Yeah,
I made the one for the Fistex, made the one for our Petra trip.
Yep, the Petra trip.
And that was a good time. It's funny because majority of those photos came from you. I was like, I need photos, man. You're like, I'm like, oh, that's Dalton's photos. And then you got the second one, which is really interesting. I bring this up because it's just such a one-off deployment. I want to really say that. So we started in, if you could talk a little bit about that, just the.
Well, I think when we first got there and we didn't know, I felt like kind of that we were the outcasts, kind of just what it felt like. They left so many people in certain different areas, and then we got to Kuwait, and they were like, find a spot, get comfy. You know what I mean?
Well, you started in Al Assad, right?
Mm-hmm. Started in Al
Assad for a month.
And then they said, hey, something might be coming down. And they just kind of, I don't know, because it was a ragtag group. I mean, it's what it felt like. So they just kind of brought all these people together and were like, y'all are going to Kuwait. Yeah. And in Kuwait, they told us, all right, just hang out. Mm-hmm. And then in Kuwait, it felt like forever. I'll be honest with you. I was actually tired of being in Kuwait. I mean, you're working out twice a day just to pass things by.
Okay, dude, that Arif John?
Dude, that
Chow Hall?
Well, the Chow Hall.
Paninis.
I mean, hey, that's some Air Force stuff.
Anytime. Dude, that's Air Force, though. It's an
Air
Force
that was an Air Force base. So we got to live it a little large there. But I think, and then the mission came down.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as Trump got inaugurated, I mean, it was like boom, boom, boom.
Well, it was General Maddox that was kind of advising him to do, like, just greenlight all these different things. Because there's a lot of pushback for how much do we want to be in this.
Right.
I mean, again, not to be political, but in reality, when you have an individual like General Maddox coming in, he's going to be like, thinking about it from a grunt perspective. I mean, the man literally is call sign chaos, but I don't want to talk too much about him. But yeah, that mission was Sodorf North, Special Operations Task Force North, and it was with the assistance of clearing Western Mosul.
Right.
And what a unique experience. I'm just gonna flat out say I've worked with MARSOC my first deployment. We worked with MARSOC our second deployment, or your first, my second, and then the third deployment we were like, we were their security Sec 4, security force detachment. But I'm trying to think of how many nations security special operations command.
It was a bunch.
Were there.
You had MARSOC, you had the Italians, you had the Polish, you had the British,
Latvian,
and I think there was one more, wasn't there?
Canadian.
Oh, yeah, the Canadians, and then you had the Navy SEALs that showed up. I respect anybody in the Navy. The SEALs that we met were not to what I would hold a Navy SEAL accountable for.
Yeah, well, it's they have teams, and so that was definitely not there.
I don't think we got a good team.
I don't know.
But I will say, I mean, the Polish, the British, I mean, even the Italians, I mean, everybody there was squared away.
Yeah.
Solid guys. MARSOC, the best group to hang out with.
Yeah. SAS,
Okay.
Do you remember when we first arrived there? and we were like, we're just touring the base, whatever. And they're like, SAS guys, like, come over. You know, they got a fire lit. By the way, this is an area that you shouldn't have a fire because they have heat sensors, and this is the intel briefing that we're getting. Is like, don't have a fire. We're like everything they say no to. Don't drink. Don't. Which we didn't. None of us that I know of. I never did consumed alcohol there. Anyways, but no, and it's crazy. We walk up on this. Like, they just have a big old.
Yep. Dude, just grilling,
drinking in their skivvies.
Yep.
You know,
I've never met and you know that really speaks to, the experience level. Honestly, that you can tell from each group there. I think that experience level equates a lot to the humbleness from it, and the SAS.
They're amazing.
I mean,
that group especially that team.
100%. I've never met a more, I guess, professional group of just guys.
Yep.
Even in the civilian world, I've never met anybody as professional and dads. You know what I mean? I can't explain it other than it's just a group of dads that are professional killers. Yeah. That's just what it is.
That's a great description.
That's just what it is.
That's a great description. No, it was wild. Just I don't know, because we literally come up on them, literally just have this big old bonfire. Not even worried about anything. They're just like, no.
Not worried about a damn thing.
Try us.
Yep.
Try us.
I mean, they invited Duncan and I down there. I mean, we hung out with them. I don't know what else. And that's the crazy thing. None of the other, I guess what's weird is none of the other units wanted to get to know us, but the SAS group wanted to get to know us.
I challenge that just a little bit. The moment that they saw our capabilities with the mortars and providing that counter battery type of style of firing, they all wanted to know us.
Oh, okay.
That's what I encountered, at least, from the COC. When I would go to the COC, because, again, at that time I was deck commander, and you were kind of like my A/.
Yeah.
It's like I literally said to you and Duncan, I was like, you're going to be my A/.
You know that
A/ is like second command.
Right.
Saying that for the listeners, just in case we got somebody who's like, oh, these terms. No, but it's kind of crazy because they're like, why do we need these guys here? You know, why do we need these people, these Marines? You know, I'm like, I don't know. We don't have any crayons for them to eat. You know.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I think too, once they realized, and they thought we were crazy when we started operating the guns. Started operating the mortars. They thought we were nuts.
Yeah.
Because we're all yelling. Because it's just how we've been training for the past however long, and then that's just how we kept it up. There's no point in changing. You know, there's no point in changing our SOPs for anybody else. And they were all looking at us like, man, why are they screaming? I don't understand. Like, but I mean, I think they appreciated everything that we did. I mean, I think there at the end that one mass sergeant was putting on a little dog and pony show for us, but I think the other mass sergeant, the kind of heavier set one, more built one, I think he really appreciated what we did. I think the other guy was more along the lines of like, these Marines, these grunts, you know what I mean? Because you got to think we're like $30,000 guys compared to these $1 million dudes, you know.
You'd be surprised by that number, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it's way more.
Well, did Marcel get
40,000 just to train? This is my numbers are out of date, but 40,000 just to train a Marine.
Like before even an MOS.
Before, to get him to be a Marine.
What?
And one stat that I read was 60. I want to do this because, again, you said at the beginning of this, not even when we were recording, but you said I'm very analytical and I love numbers. Numbers speak for themselves.
I wouldn't lie to you.
60K to train a rifleman, not a rifleman. Every Marine's a rifleman. Yeah,
sure.
Anyways,
okay.
No, but just to train a Marine.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at that. That's what it was. Then 40K for SOI.
Oh,
because of all the ammunition.
Well, yeah.
It depends on that's a variable influx because you have AT, AT4s, you have anti-armor. That's also that's shooting them. Some of those missiles cost 40K. Just one of those. Javelin, crazy.
Yeah, then that Javelin like over a little bit over 100, I think.
Which one am I thinking of then?
I think
it's a Javelin, and then anyways.
I know. That's all
One of
monthly
those
expensive.
missiles, you're right, is over 6
I'll
figures.
pour some more of this.
100%, do your thing, man. That's why I was like, bring the bottle over here.
Yes, sir.
That was a wild deployment, and I think the craziest part, dude, I gotta give a shout out to AJ. Sorry, I'm a civilian now. You're a civilian now, but AJ Nelson. I don't know what rank he is now. He's definitely past a colonel.
He deserves to be general.
He deserves to be general. He's like that. That guy's Marine. You know, I'm sure it's yeah. But as a sergeant, being a deck commander, I was the only sergeant, and had a bunch of corporals and
the rest of us were
junior Marines or corporals.
Yeah, because I think I picked up right before we left.
Then, yeah, you had Duncan,
Oh.
a couple other machine gunners, and then I don't think we had any 352s. Although I think we had one. But anyways, just
Did we?
what's Ott? Tyler Ott.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what
And
he
then
was.
there's one more. I remember the main characters.
The main characters
in that film. Film in my head. I remember the main characters.
Right.
Yeah, what a crazy deployment, though. I mean, honestly, what a unique experience, and that's 100% what you said. Some of those memories, some of those stories, I'll take to for the rest of my life. Just look back at them and be like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, some I'll share, some I'll just keep for me because I feel like some are just for me. You know, me to reflect on and hang out with.
Yeah. And, I've never been a fan of war stories.
No.
And that's why I always appreciate about you is I just don't like war stories. Unless something was funny.
That's different.
That's different. That's not a war story. Like, it depends. Funny's dictated on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Dark humor inflicts it a little bit more. So something that we might think is funny, civilians.
Well, okay. I'll put it to you this way, all right? So, remember Ciboli?
Ciboli, yeah. I used to call him Ciboli, but yes,
Yeah.
Ciboli.
So, anyway, you know how he did the day trading for the stock market and all that? Okay. I would literally use him at times. So, Duncan and I would trade out, right? I would literally go to his Vic and go, hey, Ciboli, tell me about your time on the stock market while you're, just scanning your sector. And he'd tell me, boy, he'd put me right to sleep. Then I'd finally wake up. Ciboli? He goes, yes, Corporal. I'm like, okay, all right, buddy. And he goes, were you fucking sleeping? I'm like, no.
you're the corporal of the guard.
Hey, there were two of us.
There were two of us.
There were two of us.
It was a very short area to rove.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was the greatest Marine. I'm not going to tell you I'm a shitbag Marine, but we had our ways.
You were good on the plotting board. We
Dude,
got rounds down range accurately and never had any misfires or any misfires wouldn't have been on you.
Well, you can't been on that.
You
but
can't, yeah.
I'll never forget that time you woke me up. We had that Illume mission. Remember that?
Was that in
that was in Missoula.
Mosul.
You woke me up, and it made me so fucking mad. And it was just mad that I had to be awake, you know what I mean? And I walked right in that COC, and I could probably never do it again, but I plotted that right, did my plot, did my other plot, spun that thing, boom. I had it done before anybody else, and I said, here's your fucking shit, I'm going back to bed.
That's funny. Dude, I think I was just trying to get us to be as beneficial and as active as we could be because we were getting towards the tail end of our deployment our time. So we're just, I mean, whenever you're going through that changeover, it wasn't even, the new group didn't even arrive yet.
Right.
But my theory was like, it was a staff sergeant that came in, right? And a lieutenant?
I think so.
Yeah. So it was a sergeant being replaced by a sergeant, staff sergeant and lieutenant. Like,
which is...
You
didn't
overkill.
need that.
You didn't need that up there.
You didn't need
just
that.
need some good, not all squared away, but they're good war fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I really do believe that. Like, you need some good war fighters. Not all of them are squared away.
But that does attain, me just doing that whole plotting thing, attains to the training that we did previous to any of this.
So this is where you're free to bring up how much of an asshole I was to you.
Okay, well.
When you were a junior Marine.
Well... I mean,
and don't hold anything, no holds barred. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not gonna fucking shame you or anything because. But here's the deal, though. Okay, because I wasn't the fucking nicest to some of these kids either, the new ones that came in, and I think what it boils down to is that It's not that you want to be a dick, but it has to come down to a point that this could be a life or death situation. Now, there's some shit like rolling up a fucking hill. Okay. You know what I mean? You never made me do that, but I watched that go down. But there's a lot of that stuff I think is just, you get that in frat houses too. It's just one of those things. But I think, I don't know, that made me a Marine, a better Marine than most. So I can't really shit on you too much.
I mean, we're here talking, so clearly,
I don't hate you.
We move past our differences.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I was a boot, and there's a gentleman I actually plan on having on the podcast here. I won't say his name just because I don't know if.
Yeah.
But I used to think to myself, I will never. I mean, I used to say never associate outside of work with X, Y, and Z.
Now there's a few of your peer group that
100%.
I couldn't give a. In the respective way, it's just those people, man. I'm trying to be the nicest way of being around it because they're Marines, and I'd still go to fight for them if they ever needed it.
It doesn't make them any less of a dick.
Yeah, I would help that guy, but I'd bitch about it the whole time. You know what I mean? That's essentially where I'm trying to get at. Is
this motherfucker.
Yeah, this bitch. You know what I mean? Oh hell.
Yeah, no, I look forward to having that guy on the podcast because it just goes to show how different it could be when you realize and you had your own Junior Marines and you've gone through a cycle. You realize, okay, and that's what I used to call it was extreme ownership.
Yeah.
If you have extreme ownership, you train individuals to the capacity and capability that they are capable of.
Yeah.
They're going to do some phenomenal things. I mean, look at your one of your guys, Derek Vo.
Yep.
He came out of sergeant in 4 years. I mean, meritorious twice, corporal and sergeant. Like,
yeah. I mean, we hooked him up. I mean, and I think that's the goal. Because it took me forever to pick up corporal. But if I'm also being honest, I did a lot to try to help them out with their careers as well. Just trying to get them hooked up for the future. Not saying you didn't, because you did. I just didn't expound on a lot of the advice and stuff that you gave me. So I think that equates to a lot of why I didn't pick up sooner. Mm-hmm. Because as soon as I picked up corporal, I lost that shit. So
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
2018 was a good year.
2018 was a nuts one. So yeah, I guess let's get into that. Like, what was the entire process for you and your transition? This is I think it's so beautiful to talk about what inspired us to join the Marine Corps, because I have my reasons. Clearly, we talked a little bit about your reasons. But getting out with circumstances other than favorable, or not other than honorable, but other than favorable to our, thought process, it's really interesting. And it doesn't matter whether you came out after 4 years. And I really love to have some of these guys that are the OGs, 20 years plus in there. Yeah. And just hear their thing, because that's been more of their time is spent in the Marine Corps than outside of it.
Yeah.
So how does that affect your psyche? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it's got to affect a lot. Well, hang on, because I met a gunny when he got out, and I hung out with him quite often. But I don't know, man. He didn't, because a lot of the gunnies that we had while they're in, they're spiffy. They're walking around. You had some that were more relaxed than others, but generally most of the time it's like Clint Eastwood walking down the street and fucking gunny sergeant. You know what I'm saying? But this guy, man, it just acted like a dad. He bullshit with you, do this. Now, I think maybe just for him it was a little easier after spending however long he spent, which I'm assuming is 20. Had to have been, being a gunny.
Yeah.
Because he was Motor T, so I don't know exactly how that structure runs rank-wise. But, I mean, I don't know.
What was the transition process like for you getting out of the Marine Corps?
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was a very rough transition. And I might be 1 in a million, I might be 1 in 100 or 1 in 5, I don't know. But it was a rough transition. Mm-hmm. It was bad. Coming back from the second deployment, I had, 6-8 months left. So I was still trying to figure out whether to extend, go on that third deployment, or whatever, this and that. But all of the previous leadership was leaving. So, I mean, I'm talking not just, sergeants. I'm talking staff sergeants, gunnies, captains, every lieutenants. Everybody that I knew and had grown to trust and they trusted me was gone.
Yeah.
So we got new leadership, and there was a sergeant that came in and was trying to change Bravo section to a 60 section.
Yeah.
And I did the tactful thing. I didn't call him out in front of everybody. And I pulled him aside and just kind of, I didn't question him, but I asked him, because it feels like you're trying to turn us into 60s. I mean, I know we're 81s, but we still know how 60s operates.
Yeah.
And that's every SOP was changed. I'm talking
SOP, standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
And
Every
then
one of them.
60s versus 81 millimeter mortars. So one is a platoon that travels with the rifle company. The other is one is a section, a smaller unit that travels with a rifle company, and then the other is a platoon that goes with, attaches to whatever they need, whether it is that rifle company or if it's battalion or whatever.
Right.
I just had to clarify that for people that don't potentially know.
They were trying to change us from a battalion asset or a company asset, really, to a platoon asset or whatever. And I questioned him about it, and he essentially told me to fuck off.
Yeah.
So I was going against the grain already. Then we got new leadership, and one morning I was coming in and needed a haircut. So I came in, it was like, 6, like 8 a.m., right? And I just took my stuff off because nobody was freaking there in the fucking parking lot. So I took my blouse off and boom, run aside, get a haircut. Well, this guy comes in and sits down, and he said, "You wearing your camis?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And I was getting my haircut, and he said, "Who are you with?" And I said, "I'm, Corporal O'Brien with 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, 81s, Weapons Company." I said, "Look, I know I'm not presuming to know your rank, none of this shit, but this will never happen again. I assumed you were high up."
Yeah.
And so I paid and I left. Well, come to find out, this person was working at like base, like the command base center, that whole little area. Took my fucking picture and told everybody that I told him to fuck off. Okay, now listen, you know me.
Very well.
Would I have ever, as a boot or a senior Marine, told a fucking gunny of any rank, even a fucking corporal, you guys, to fuck off to their face?
No. I can name quite a few. You are not amongst that list. Period.
No.
Point blank and period.
Never.
Yeah.
When it has always come to that, whether I was in the wrong or the right, I've always been the Marine I thought I was supposed to be, which would be respectful, take that ass chewing and go away. That's always how I've thought.
Amen.
Yeah. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. So anyway, a week goes by. Boom, there's a fucking picture of me. Then they pull me out in front of the entire fucking of 3-7 and shames me in front of there. We go to the office. If I'd have known better, I mean, NJP, once we got, the shit part for me was knowing that I'd worked so hard to get corporal. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a fucking corporal. And I finally got there. We got into the fucking NJP status. That sergeant was in there.
Non-judicial punishment.
Yeah. That sergeant was in there for that little meeting with me and First Sergeant Reynolds.
And you're already questioning his side, his tactical approach, his standard operating procedure approach.
Exactly.
And so that leads to
and he screwed me over.
Yep.
Yeah, he screwed me over. And it was bad. 3-7 was kind of split for a minute because there was staff sergeants that I had met on duty. Didn't even know who they were with, and I met them on duty, and they were asking our chain of command, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
It was very split. Yeah. But during this meeting or whatever, they had all of our junior Marines that we had helped get there, get to where they're at, and they all had to watch me get my rank taken. And here's the best part. All right, so we had how hard did we work to get those damn belts? Your brown belt,
Yeah,
black,
map.
dude. Yeah, I worked so fucking hard and that's something so small, but you work so hard at
They
it.
took the belt away from you?
Dude, it gets better. It gets so much
It
better.
gets better. I.e., it means it's getting worse.
It's getting better. So anyway, I'm in this fucking thing, and they give me max me 45 days of fucking everything. What is that? Where you have to go and check in every 6 hours or 4 hours. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But they maxed me out 45 days of that. 45 days half pay.
Yep.
And then took my rank, and then first sergeant said, "Oh, hey, you can take his belt, sir."
They're just adding stuff on top.
Adding in the fucking meeting.
Yeah.
And while they're doing this in the meeting, I'm like, okay, so what is this? Am I just being the fucking guinea pig to to me, a corrupt, hierarchy of a command,
Institution.
Yeah, and because our previous command would have never done this.
Not at all.
Never would have done this because they would have asked me. And to be fair, hindsight's 20/20, but I should have taken it to a court martial.
Just thought of continue.
But I should have taken it to a court martial because I'd have fucking won.
I think the Marine Corps doesn't know how to adapt to the photo side. The moment it's out there for the world to see, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
yours was.
Yeah, that bastard took a
That's
photo.
what started.
Yeah.
Had it been just that gunny talking to you, first sergeant, it would have never come to that.
No.
But because it was globalized, or whatever,
Yeah.
this fanfare was around it. Like, oh,
Right. And maybe a different approach. I could have probably told that new staff sergeant of ours, but I had done everything that I had thought was correct and the appropriate and I don't know, tactful, respectful way of telling this gentleman, hey, this is everything. So how the hell did you not know who I was when I told you everything?
yeah.
So, but anyway, they did that. They took my rank. I had to go through all that BS, and then the unit deployed. But we got a new first sergeant, and I got put on shit detail because I'm now a lance corporal. So I was always up at the company office cleaning shit that didn't need to be cleaned. But anyway, this first sergeant asked me.
Didn't need to be cleaned. Keywords.
Yeah, and this first sergeant asked me. He said, "Hey, we're going to McCree." And he said, "You're going to be my security for it." So anyway, we do this, and dude, he's just talking to me this whole fucking time. And when I was a Marine, or when I was a junior Marine, I would always dig a fucking hole that was like an inch deep, and I'd put my shit in it, and I'd sleep because the wind would go over.
You learned from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the wind would go over, and I did this. And you know what this son of a bitch did? He said, "Oh, Brian, why you doing that?" And I said, "Well, first on, if you do it just like this, and you lay in it, the wind goes right over you. You're warm all night." And he goes, "All right, well, go dig another one." And I said, "First on?" And he goes, "That one's mine."
This
You
asshole.
son of a bitch.
He's like sizing you up. You're like, oh, he chose you specifically because you're like, all right, whatever this man does for creature comforts, I don't want to start doing the same exact thing.
But man, this guy tried, dude. And once I think what he was doing was reading me out to see what kind of Marine I was, because I think he knew I got railroaded.
Yeah.
And he almost begged me to reenlist. He said, "Reenlist, stay with the unit." He said, "I'm gonna be here for a while."
Yeah.
And well, I mean, it was a weird time too in my personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Emmett was born, my first son.
I do. Yeah.
So I was like, well, okay, well, I really need to focus on trying to be a dad. I was already fucking that up, trying to do this whole Marine thing and that, and I mean, eventually I just got out. But yeah, and then when they fucking deployed, they fucked up all my paperwork. It was like the previous unit before they left, just like took my shit and put it in the shredder.
That's
Man,
crazy.
My EAS date, I was there 2 weeks still on base. Yeah, past my EAS date because they tried to say
end of active service date.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just
end of active service date.
when you're
I
supposed
was
to be
there
like free.
past.
When you're supposed to be free. Yep.
Fucking 2 weeks after, bro.
Yep.
Yep. 2 weeks. I couldn't leave base. I didn't have an active duty military anymore, or the card, the CAT card. I don't know what the fucking acronym for that is, but
I'd have to think about it for a
Yeah,
second. Like credentials.
yeah, credentials, fucking something.
No, it's not. It's not. And.
But it was a very rough transition. So my experience is not I believe, a true experience for the Corps. I got placed, but it's not all, I'm not going to put all the blame on them. I went against the grain a lot when it came to my own unit, when it came to 81s, because I wanted to make sure that our Marines, that my junior Marines, were set up and ready to fucking deploy. I wanted to make sure that their unit and everything was squared. They had all of the shit that they needed and tried to. And then it was just I didn't have anybody behind me. It was just me. You know what I mean? That's not shaming anybody. I mean, everybody left. Everybody was doing their own thing at that point. So there was a lot of that going on. I wish I could say I did drugs and fucking lost my rank. No, I think I lost my rank because of pettiness.
Yeah.
Because this guy was like, you know what, fuck this guy, kind of thing. And then the unit never asked me a fucking question. They
took another person's word.
Yeah.
Which is double-edged sword. It's good on one front because if that person is to be trusted, you want to hear that.
Yeah.
Terrible on the other front if that person's. It's
right.
really interesting how the power wielding starts happening and people just lose their freaking minds. I think that's the reason why I was like, I got out other than, circumstance.
Yeah.
I have my own story, but it was in the back of my mind. Like, I could progress through this entire thing and get to Sergeant Major or whatever. Just didn't have the heart for it because at some point it is politics.
Yeah, that taught me a lot.
It's making it really does. When you go through a hard time and you see the institution for what it is. It's not just, again, this is not talking trash about the Marine Corps.
Nope.
It's not talking about trash about military. But there's some people that are meant to do it and some people that are not.
No. I just got bad leadership.
Yeah.
We ended up with really bad leadership. Now, however, the unit deployed with good leadership. So that's something that I could sleep well on.
Yeah.
But, if I could have been the only victim for that part of the fucking unit, man, I guess I'll take it. But it makes it to where...
I don't think you were, though.
I don't think I was either.
No.
You know what's shitty, though?
What?
I didn't even get to put my fucking blood stripes on my pants.
You didn't even get to what?
I didn't even get blood stripes sewn on my fucking pants. I wasn't back home long enough.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. I went through all that fucking bullshit. Just like, you see how shitty it is?
Yeah.
So I got my uniform, but it's got Lance rank on it.
Yeah.
And now I guess I could be one of those guys who went private, PFC, Lance, Corporal Lance.
Yeah, those little decals.
Yeah.
Those little decals on vehicles. I used to love when I'd see. There was one in particular that stood out to me. So it was, again, PFC, because private doesn't have a rank. PFC, a corporal, sergeant, staff, corporal. Yeah. It's like, how'd you get busted like that many ranks?
Dude, I'm telling you.
I was like, maybe that's everybody that's in his family. I don't know. But like, no, this man quite literally went through.
But for a fact, too, that I was a private for a long fucking time.
You were.
I was a private. And I didn't think I deserved that.
I don't know.
Yeah, PFC could just be fucking given. It would. Look at my fucking peer group.
We talking shit about Marines now.
Yeah, I know. We got to get back.
Moto podcast is canceled currently because he's talking shit about other Marines. Oh, dude, that's what we do. Yeah. It's like I'd say that shit to his face. That's the thing. That is 100% the fact. Is we would say it, but he wouldn't care now.
No.
Like if somebody's talking shit about me on their thing, I wouldn't care. I'm like, all right, well, dude, it's in the past.
Yeah.
I was a man at one point.
Yeah. I made mistakes.
I am still a man, but I'm saying I was a certain person when you met me, and I'm no longer that. So, yeah, transition process was harsh.
Rough. Yeah.
And then you had Emmett. I remember, dude, I got so busy with recruiting, that I kind of just fell off the grid with keeping tabs on people. And, but I remember that call. You're like, oh, Emmett's born. This is. You told me about some of the things.
Yeah.
Didn't get to hear the full story because again, it was so much to catch up about. But
yeah, there was a lot.
What was that like for you? Because one of my nephews actually just had a kid.
Okay.
Shout out TNT. That's his acronym.
Okay, there you go.
Anyways, it's good to say acronym because I can't have the name. It's okay. Just say his name on the podcast.
There's no consent form for that one.
Yeah. No, and I was having a conversation with his dad. I was like, "What's that been like?" Because I feel like the moment I have a kid, I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
what was that like having a child? for you
Man,
personally?
so it's a whole new experience, especially because it doesn't hit you really until like birth, right? Because you can try to prepare yourself, you can try to do this and that, and it just doesn't work. It's almost like that fear of the unknown, and it only hits you as soon as you get on that fucking bus, right? So it only hits you when you're in a hospital room, and then you see them, and then everyone's like, oh, well, you're supposed to take care of the mom. In my eyes, mom didn't mean shit to me. That's my kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really the same for my other children too. I love my wife, but as soon as the kids are born, I'm like, okay, fuck you, I want that one. You know what I mean? Like, I love you,
I
but
don't know, but
yeah, well,
thank you.
yeah, but
Maybe I'll learn.
yeah, fuck you. That's my child.
Yeah.
Give me my child. You know what I mean? So, and there's a lot. It's fun. It's like having junior Marines, except you don't treat them that way.
So how many kids you got now?
4.
So you got a fire team. You got over the fire team because you're the fire team leader.
Yeah, yeah. But we're
4.
done. I got fixed. So I ain't doing that shit.
So, you got fixed.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. I remember you telling them.
Yeah.
What's the age bracket?
Okay, so
And
you got Emmett and
gender.
Riker, right?
What is it?
Emmett and Riker, both boys. My wife had Riker before me. I had Emmett before, and we brought them together.
Okay.
So they're both 6, and they're 3 months apart.
So there's that
Oh shit!
competition.
Oh my god! Well, that and they're fucking 2 peas in a pod, man.
That's kind of that's phenomenal.
It's
that's
good.
That's
It's fucking scary. All right, because they get quiet, and you have to like clear the house to find them. All right, M4 up because they're trying to kill me, kind of thing. And then we have Grattan. He's 3. He's a little shit. And then Ellie, our daughter, who is now 1. So 3 boys and a girl.
Well, I was joking with JJ about this on the ride out. I was like, hey man, I always judge people. It's gonna sound bad now. If I bring
Yeah,
this
it
up.
is.
But it's like if you have your first child is a girl,
Mm-hmm.
I always think that's just God's way of like giving it back to you. Like you were a piece of POS
Yeah.
as in your youth,
Yep.
and that's just him returning that favor. To be like, all right, good. You were
I wasn't
skirt
an asshole.
chasing, whatever. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I mean? I had 3 boys before the girl, so.
Hey, but then that girl's probably gonna be your pride and joy, right? If
Oh
not
yeah,
already.
she's already a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
I hang out with her every chance I get. If I'm not at work, I try to. Right now, she's all about mom. But when she hits 2, she's gonna be nothing but me, and we're gonna go to gun stores, go to the shooting range. We're gonna do all that cool shit. We're going on hikes.
Teach her how to be strapped at all times.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's a good segment. So you got these beautiful kids.
Mm-hmm.
You met your wife. I know this answer, but when did you meet your wife?
So 2020. So okay, I gotta go back a little bit further.
Yeah.
She moved from the middle of Texas on this little, not even a stoplight of a town called Abernathy, and I'm saying that because
Abernathy. I've heard of it. Though.
Okay, so you've heard of it? Well, not that small, but so she moved to Hallsville.
I might have typed in the smallest.
Oh,
town in
okay,
Texas.
yeah. But so she moved to Hallsville, and we had a class together, but we never spoke to each other. I think I spoke to her once in the hallway. I was dating somebody else at the time. Yeah. And then as I was out of the Corps, me and Emmett's mom weren't a thing no more. So I was texting her because we had been friends and been keeping up. But it was like one of those where every 3 to 6 months we would text each other, see how we're doing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was nothing, hey, be my girlfriend kind of thing. And then I moved back to Texas and we met up, and boy, I just took off from there.
That's crazy.
We've been together since 2020, been married since 21, and I made sure that we got married on Juneteenth, so I couldn't forget it. But
Smart.
yeah, we've been together 5 years, married for 4.
Dang.
And she's Air Force, by the way.
Well, I could say a couple things about that.
Yeah.
I won't.
I was trying to be a dependent. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was hoping she'd stay in and not want to get out, and I'd be like the only Marine living on base, flying that flag. But yeah, she was monkey police, military police.
Yeah. It's It's kind of funny. I reached out, like we've talked over the years, but I think the last time, I mean, again, I got so enveloped. You get so when you're really passionate about something and you want to make it work, you just get so enveloped in it. And recruiting was that for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I put in some. I'll just say it, some killers. You know, some good dudes.
Yeah.
And girls. But we spoke, and I literally joked with JJ about this. I was like, I don't know how, but I feel like this man increased his Texas accent since the last time I talked to him.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something to do with proximity, being so close to Texarkana? You're just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I was in, I had somewhat of an accent. So like in boot camp, I had one.
Definitely had one.
And now that I'm back amongst these Texas folk, it's come back out a little bit.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
I literally joked. I was like, I feel like I could embody that accent pretty well right now.
You can. I mean, it's not hard to fake.
It's not. Well, I'm not trying to fake though. I'm trying to be genuine. But
all right, well, come on, move down here. You'll pick it up in about a year, I bet.
Hey, that's the entire point of this road show.
Right.
So after getting out, did you do like some odd jobs, or did you go directly to what you're doing now? That's a good
man.
question.
I did fire sprinklers. So all those fire sprinkler systems, I got in a guy. His name was Phil. He got me on the fire sprinkler stuff. Did that, man. Loved it. I mean, hanging, 30 feet of 4-inch pipe in the air and stuff like that. I guess I don't like the whole blue collar, white collar, all that BS. A job's a job's a job. All right.
A job is a job.
And that's getting in that political crap.
Grave is a grave.
Exactly. And I loved it, dude.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it because, like the Corps, even though we trained in the same areas, it was something new every day. You know what I mean?
It's a beautiful thing.
And I think that's what I loved about it so much, that the longest I would be on a job was 6 months. And that was it. And then I got to go see something new.
That's nice.
Like one of my favorite days. All right, I was working in L.A. Mind you, I was still living in 29. So I had to wake up at like 2 a.m., drive to L.A., get in the company, or drive to Palm Springs, get in the company truck, and then drive to L.A. Horrible. Getting back at the house at like maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then fucking horrid.
With kids especially?
Well, thankfully, at the time, Emmett and the dynamic was different, so I would get him on the weekends when it didn't work and stuff. But I loved it, dude. One day we were putting in a sprinkler system in this Italian restaurant, but the foreman didn't show up that day. And by the way, this restaurant is 2 blocks from the beach. So he didn't show up. 8 a.m. dog wasn't there. So you know what? Fuck it. I made $30 an hour sitting my fat ass on the beach wearing coveralls. 8-hour day, all day. It was amazing. And then Phil called me and he goes, "What you doing, man?" I'm like, "I'm chilling on the beach. What you doing?" And he goes, "You're not working?" And I said, "Well, foreman didn't show up to open the doors. What the hell am I supposed to do?" You know? I didn't even get in trouble. It was amazing. Yeah. But yeah, and then so after the fire sprinkler stuff, I went to that workshop for warriors.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about workshop for warriors.
Okay.
I'll leave it to every other veteran's perspective on that.
Talk about it.
Yeah. And then I did that, and obviously, as soon as I finished that, COVID hit. Right. So 2019, COVID hit. I couldn't find work anywhere, man. And if I did hang fire sprinkler, it was in houses, making maybe $400 a week, and that just wasn't feasible. So I went home. And then I've been a salesman ever since. Dude, I've been a car salesman. Did roof sales for a while. Don't recommend that. That's horrible. I think I've had more guns pointed at me here in Texas than I did overseas. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely see that one.
And then, yeah, so I just did kind of sales work, and then I started doing the leather.
So this is your passion project.
Yeah, so I want this to I want this to take over. I want it to be the only thing I do. Yeah. I've always wanted to own my own business. That's why I'm going to school right now.
Love it.
I'm actually.
What are you going to school for?
Business management and leadership.
Okay.
I think it's like the technical terms like a Bachelor of Science or some shit like that. But it's the major parts in leadership.
Parts in business. Yeah.
So I'm doing that. I'm a freshman still, but still running that. And I figured, because Google will tell you everything. All you have to do is Google it.
As it was called.
Yeah. So
I literally had to ask the same guy I was talking about earlier. I literally had to ask him. I was like, "Do they still call it Gunny Google?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's about right. I was like, "Shit just doesn't change in the Marine Corps. They just stick with one name and
that's it.
It's a full blown thing."
100%. But yeah, I Googled a lot about starting a business and operations of running a business, and I figured if I can get college for free, why would I not? You know, and that's just something I can tell my kids when I get older too. Is that no matter what age you are,
You can restart.
you can still do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, I want leather to take over everything. I want to own my own business doing that. But I don't want to just sell leather products. I want to sell, whole hides, and so if somebody else wants to do it, they can buy from me, kind of thing.
You want to be a supplier of leather, but also individual that creates. So it's like, okay, well, if you want to do your own thing, you're supporting other people.
Right.
But you're also doing the manufacturing piece of it.
And the best part about doing a leather work, man, is that.
Yeah, what is the passion for you? What's the passion behind leather?
Dude, honestly, so.
And let me ask you, when did you get an inkling for that passion? And then what is the passion?
I had a need. So I don't know if you.
I love that.
I had a need, and I don't know if you know this, but I may have never told you. I don't know, but I do Old West reenactments. I think I did tell you that.
You did, yeah.
Okay, and I still do that. My holster broke. It ripped.
Yeah.
I had a need, and it was either spend, $100 to $300 on a new holster, or I could try to make my own. So I told my wife, I said, load up. We're going to Shreveport to Tandy Leather. And I went and bought a whole bunch of shit. And I went back home. That first holster looked like ass. And then the second one I made looked a little better. And by the third or fourth, it looked like a finished product. Now this isn't that holster. I sold that holster.
Yeah.
But
throw it up.
yeah, so that's one of the outside the waistbands I made for a Glock 19, and this is actually a first generation. So everything I brought today is a first generation.
Yeah. You were talking about that when we first started. So you even talked about this spins like crazy, and then you found the solution first. So walk through that solution.
So that actually, if you lay it, it's obviously lined inside and out to protect the finish on your firearm. Because if you don't know this and you buy a fucking holster that has that rawhide feel on the outside, if you leave your gun in it, now it's not going to be like a week or so. It takes time. But if you leave your gun in it, that leather will actually eat the finish away on a firearm.
Really?
Yeah. So if you line it like this one here, where not the grain side, but the flesh side is there, boom, you're good to go. And this is all hand stitched too. I don't have a machine yet.
That's crazy.
So my thumbs hurt.
Yeah.
But and then the concho spins. And the way I got around that on other customers that have ordered from me, I basically made my own spacers, and it's just like a 1/2 inch little, probably 5 ounce leather. Which, look, there's like 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, all the way to 12 ounce, and it's a certain millimeters and whatnot on the leather, but I don't know that offhand. You know what I mean? But I use about a 5 ounce spacer. That's about a 1/2 inch, and it's rock solid. And I Loctite it, all that stuff, and you don't get the spinning anymore. But I always keep these around because I want to show where I came from, show myself, not necessarily other people, but just to show that whether it's the 900 one I make or the 12,000th I make, this is where it came from.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Yeah. And
if it ever gets really big, then you could put it up in a museum or a part of that store, that catalog. You were saying you make them so whatever you make, you pretty much just goes out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm about to do a lot of rebranding. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. So right now, my name is Red's Custom Leather. All right, and I'm only on Facebook. And currently, I'm about to do rebranding. I don't know the new name or anything like that yet because I just did a whole marketing class for my college. So I learned a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I'm about to get a website going.
That's what I was about to ask you too.
Yeah, so I'm about to get that going, and I'll link you all those
Please.
the details. However, right now it's just if you text or call and want something, I make it. I made I made a custom one for Ethan, and it has I don't know really how to explain it, but this is one of the wallets I'm carrying. I made as well. So the
You got one there
bifold.
too. So these are all first gen. We only saw it so far.
So this is the Roper wallet. That's one of the first one I made. Obviously, it's Marine Corps related.
Yeah.
That's a first generation Roper. I've expounded a lot and made all that a little better.
These are very high quality. Yeah, you
And
can
they're
tell this
thick.
would last. They're thick, but
Yeah.
you could tell they would last.
I want it to
Like
last.
that holster.
My thought process is that you know how you grow up and you saw your dad's wallet, right?
Yeah.
And it was always just full of crap, and it seemed like he had it for 50 years.
Yeah.
When you buy a wallet from me, I want it to have that same nostalgic feel.
Let me, dude. After we're done with this, let me show you my wallet. And let me
Right.
tell you about the bitches, moments, and complaints that I have about it. Because I'm like, dude,
Right.
this thing is like, I need to get a new one. And
Right.
It's been less than a decade. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
That's what
definitely
I
seems
want.
like quality.
And then that's a bifold or a billfold or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that's beautiful work. Wow. You could see I mean, this is great too.
Yeah.
But you could see the detail in this so much more. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a fan of that one. So this here is a tri-weave basket stamp. That is a cross hatch.
I'm not going to reverse this because it's got your
you're
information.
good.
But what is it? Cross hatch?
So this is cross hatching.
Yeah.
That there.
I want to see if that'll focus.
Yeah. That's cross hatching there. This is that tri-weave stamp.
Yeah.
With just a normal border. And then that's obviously the same there. And then I've started making these. Had a guy reach out, wanting me to make him one. Here's a beautiful thing about leather. All right, you can buy these patterns online. Okay.
Okay.
So if anybody ever wants to do it, there's so many YouTube videos out there. There's so many, and shoot, message me. I'll happily send you a video of how I do it because you know me. I don't go by the book. I don't like going by the book. The book's ridiculous to me when I can cut 3 or 4 steps and still get it done. So I do it a little bit different. But this is one of those. I don't even know what these knives are called, man. You know, the little trifold or the little. I got 2 blades in them. Like what your granddad carried around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these are coming back in style, and so that's another one that I make, and I send these out.
No, that's definitely cool. Well, multi-tools? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
But it's not really multi-tool because it doesn't
I
have
can't remember the name of the what.
Leatherman? I mean, they're not really Leatherman. They're a different style. But
Yeah, I don't know the style. Like a case knife.
Case knife. Okay.
Yeah, like a case knife. And if anybody heard of a folding knife, it's a case.
You just know that this would last forever.
Yeah.
Just the
Now,
thickness
mind
of
you,
this.
I have been wearing these. So these are obviously my personal ones. I use this wallet the majority of the time. I wore this one, by the way, for like 5 months. So you can see the wear and tear difference. Mm-hmm. This is 5 months of use. And that's showing a little bit of wear, but I've been using that one for about 6 months. So I could see, I want to use a little bit thicker leather on the billfolds to get a little bit more longevity. But like I said, it's all practice run on most of this anyway. You got to learn. You know what I mean? You got to learn from mistakes. But yeah, we're about to open up a whole website, and I'm hoping it takes over everything. That's the goal.
That's awesome. I literally was gonna ask you, do you have a website? Do you know what's the details? And by the way, I am really big promoting veteran businesses.
Yeah,
I think it's a huge thing for me. Nothing sponsored here, nothing of that nature, but I genuinely believe in just seeing other veterans succeed.
Oh, 100%.
And it's the thing about, like, vets get it, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's a new generation. I don't think so. I really think vets just understand quality.
Yeah.
Like, when I hear it's veteran-owned and operated, or something of that, something to that degree, there's a little sense of peace that comes through me.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this guy shouldn't fuck me over too hard.
Right.
Because he knows if he's solving that problem, like you said, it came out of a need. I love. I mean, that's kind of the drive, is just to hear enough of these stories where guys are like doing stuff or they get inspired to.
Right.
That's the biggest motivator for me doing this podcast.
Yeah.
It's quite literally, I don't see it. They say podcasting or streaming or any of this stuff is saturated. I don't think it's a saturated market.
It's not, because a saturated market would be roof sales.
Would be what?
Roofing sales.
Oh, yes.
A saturated market is a freaking car dealership. I mean, what is a saturated market when what you're doing is a one-off? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How many other podcasts are out there talking about, vet stuff? Like, everything we've talked about from the beginning of this has been to help someone either transition or thinking about going or whatever to just a personal life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What happens when you get out?
Yeah.
That's just what it is, man.
What was, when you finally got your D214, what was that like for you?
Well, okay, so I can't tell you that per se without the 2 weeks leading up to that.
Okay.
Because that EAS date, I was trying to leave. I wanted to leave. And they told me that if I left, I couldn't get back on base and there would be no way for me to get my DD214, right? So you see the conundrum that I was in. Well, anyway, I can't remember the staff sergeant's name, but he was a phenomenal guy. I wish I could remember his name. He was in charge of this little detail, and then there's me, all right? He would always, they had morning platoon meetings or whatever the fuck, reveilles, whatever the hell they were, and I would never go to them. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not active duty.
When it's past your ES.
Yeah. As far as the Marine Corps is concerned, I'm not active duty.
Yeah.
So I stayed in my room, and they'd always send some poor junior Marine out to my room. And the second time that I grabbed that kid and pulled him into the room and slammed the door, I didn't do nothing to him, but I just it was the shock and fear factor that I could see on this kid's face, and the rest of the junior Marines down there were like, he just got sucked into a room.
He was there and I was not?
Yeah. And then I'd let him go, and I would never do anything to him, just like, quit knocking on my fucking door. Mm-hmm. And okay. And then, he'd run off. But, and that staff sergeant and me became, I guess, bros at that point because, bro, I didn't get a haircut. I didn't shave. I had a full beard.
You're 2 weeks after your ES date. I can't expect anything more or less. I don't give a fuck who you. I'm sorry. If you are the person that's watching this or listening to this, you're like, oh, he's a piece of shit. No, dude. I signed up for a certain period of time. Yep. It's past that date.
Past that date, buddy.
We're done.
Uh-huh.
we have cut ties in my brain, and
you got to think of how disgruntled I was because this is right after NJP status, all this stuff. So anyway, I'd go to the little meetings or whatever, and I'd have a beard.
Yeah.
And they would laugh at me every time because they're like, bro, you cannot fucking come up here with a full beard.
Yeah.
And I went to pick up. They finally said that I could go get my DD214. And when I went there, I had shaved like 2 days before, so I had stubble. And I went in civilian clothes. And when I showed up, they were like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm O'Brien. I'd like to pick up my paperwork so I get the fuck out of here. That turned into a pissing match between me and some sergeant. And so at this point, as a civilian, I did challenge rank at that point. So anyway, I lost that battle. And I went back. I shaved. I didn't get a haircut, but I shaved. And I put on camis. And I did not just put on any camis. I put it on my most faded fucking desert camis I had. And I walked my happy ass up there, low-ass boot blousings, just salt dog, right?
Yeah.
And I went in there, and I made it past everybody. And this fucking Lance is just tickled pink that I just didn't give a fuck, okay? So he finally gives it, and as soon as I'm like getting the paperwork and to sign that shit, right? As I'm signing everything, this fucking gunny, I can hear him heavy breathing coming down the hall, and he's like, who the? And I could hear him talking to somebody. Who the fuck is that? And these white fucking camis. Who the fuck is that? And I'm like, yeah, sign. So I signed that shit, and I said, and I looked at him, that Lance dude, and you could, it was like a mixture of fear and just, this guy's gonna do it look on his face. And I said, now look at me. I want you to look me in my fucking eyes and tell me, does this mean I'm done? And he goes, yes. And I said, I'm gonna ask you one more time.
Confirmation.
Is this meaning that I'm fucking done? And he goes, yes. And I said, fuck you. And then I ran out of I pointed at the gun. I said, fuck you. And he started cussing at me. And I cussed at him. And that staff sergeant was like, oh, Brian, get the fuck off base.
D4, yeah.
So I left and got in the car. And, man, that was it. But I got to say I enjoyed that last little bit because I had to make sure. Like, 'cause I don't want another one. Yeah. I don't want another NJP. If I'm going to get this one, I better earn it.
The Chessie said, you're not a real infantryman until you have 2 NJPs.
Yeah, until you have 2 NJPs. Shit, I should have waited just 5 more minutes.
No. Get out while you can.
I did.
No, I'm joking. I do believe in, even now, it's crazy just hearing the recruitment numbers going up, all this stuff.
Which is good.
Which is great. I mean, Army, Navy, and Air Force has been lacking. Marine Corps has been the one that's stagnant, or not stagnant, consistent.
Everybody knows who they want to be. Best of the best, you know.
So what was, back to my original question, I love hearing that, you know, fuck you. What was that like? I mean, you ended on a kind of a bittersweet time.
I think it was good. It was needed.
Mm-hmm.
It was needed for the closure because I was going back up against something that.
Like, why am I fighting this?
Yeah. So, and especially with that gunny, I mean, it was all, for lack of better terms, pogues. You know.
Yeah, personal other than grunts.
Yeah. But I had treated, even though was not following any rules or regulations because I had already gotten out.
Mm-hmm.
I still treated everybody with respect that I could, even junior Marines. I may have yanked that kid in there, but no, he was treated with respect, and I'm sure he'll listen someday and go, hey, that's that motherfucker, you know? But, it was good. It was a much-needed closure moment for me, just to be like, fuck you, you know? I needed that. I needed that.
Maybe that was like a wake-up call for him, too. You know, you never know what your circumstances are in line with other people's.
Right, and, you know, and I only went up there because I knew they were going to be harsh on regulations. Yeah. Because, you know, you and I both know the grunt corps and the non-grunt corps are totally different regulation styles. You know, as long as within the infantry, dude, I could care less what you look like as long as you do your job the way it needs to be done.
Proficiency.
Yeah. And the non-grunt corps is
about looks.
Yeah, it's all about how you look, man. So, and I knew that was going to happen, so I just ran with it, dude.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why when I was asked a couple days ago, why are you naming it the Moto podcast? I was like, because Moto's the thing you don't want to be when you're in. But then the realization is, for me at least, was I used to get called Moto for running, going on runs.
Oh, yeah.
After the platoon PTs, the company formation, whatever, any of that. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm doing the running so I don't kill any of you. Respectfully.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think there was a lot of that, and I listened to a lot of that being a junior Marine.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. But when you talk about the Moto podcast, I had a good time within the first 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Through the Corps. I had a phenomenal fucking time.
Yeah.
All right. And yet I had such a shitty exiting. But look, what is that?
You're still wearing it. You still got that pride.
I can't hold the Marine Corps accountable for that last little part because that's a two-sided coin, brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't sit here and tell you that I wasn't the greatest fucking Marine, and I can't tell you that the leadership was great at the time either. Yeah. I think it was just a shit mixture, and that's just what it was. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you like, oh, I was screwed over. To a degree, yeah, but I went against the grain at times. You know, I probably shouldn't have. I should have just adapted. So,
I'm just kind of reminded of asking this question because I think about this pretty freely. And my sister, the reason why I'm asking this question is, and it's answered because my sister asked me, "Do you think the Marine Corps? Would you do anything different?" I was like, "I'd do a lot of things different, whatever. I wouldn't undo them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. It's a weird thing when you look back at. But what the question for you is, if your children, one or all four of them, decided they wanted to enlist, what's your thought process on that? You're
man,
like, the princess, baby girl, you got to go to the Air Force. You know, like what?
Yeah, no, not the Air
your
Force.
wife is, but
yeah. Let me put something out there for a second.
Please.
Okay, you and I both know that when Air Force goes on a deployment, they pass out condoms.
Yeah.
Did the Marine Corps ever do that when they fucking got somewhere? No, they fucking didn't. Okay.
Sandwich bags.
Yeah. So
if you're lucky.
I would rather her ass stay the hell away from the fucking Air Force. But anyway, I would back him up, man. I can't sit here and say that they're, like I said, I had a horrible exiting, but that doesn't mean that my kids won't. And that doesn't mean that anybody watching this or anybody that wants to make the decision, they might have a bad incoming and a good exiting. They may, I don't know, bro. You know, there's so much stuff that can be going on. But the simple fact of the matter is that you asked me on and you asked me to be truthful, and that's all I'm going to do. But I'm not gonna lie to my kids either. I'm gonna tell them the same stuff. I just had a bad issue with me and leadership.
Yeah,
that's not guaranteed to happen to you. You may go through and be a staff sergeant in 4 years. I don't know. You know, as long as you don't join the Army, we'll be okay.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I used to hear this when I was a recruiter. Experiences may differ.
100%.
It's 100% true.
But that doesn't, and you can't even say that per branch. You have to say that per individual. I mean, look at, I'm not going to name him, but look at one of the Marines that was in my peer group that didn't go on that first deployment. You know, I don't know what he was going through.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that the actions that he was taking at that time weren't the right actions.
Yeah, they weren't conducive to his health
or any other Marine in that area or time space, you know. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and call him a pussy because if I call him a pussy for being scared, I was fucking scared. It's your first fucking deployment. Like we said, the fear of the unknown.
So you're working on getting your bachelor's degree in business administration.
Absolutely.
Starting up this. Remind me again, when did you start your first out of that need? Out of, I'm doing reenacting. I need the holster. What was that again?
Man, so a little backstory with that. I started doing this in 2015. Okay. The reenacting.
Yep.
A guy, but I got to give him a shout out. Buzz Gage, Air Force Vietnam vet, badass dude. He does leatherwork.
Sweet.
So he made all the stuff for everybody. So he made a lot of my stuff at the time. So a lot of my stuff was just old, man. It's nothing that he did. It was nothing of any bad quality. But you have to think, I'm falling on this stuff. You know, I'm falling, I'm rolling, and all this other shit. Yeah. But I just needed it. And so in about closer to the end of 2023, I picked up the wife and kids and said, we're going over there, and bought all the stuff. And started making stuff. So, I made keychains and wallets and holsters and gunslings. You know, the butt sleeves that hold shells.
Yep.
I'm making those.
That's sick.
And
you make belts?
Yes, I've made one belt so far.
Dude, I'm telling you, you make me a belt, I'll buy it. I'm not even joking. Maybe two or three, actually.
All right. I'll charge you $3,000 a buck.
Well, sir.
No, I'm just kidding.
I ain't doing that.
But yeah, man.
Fair wages.
Yeah. But no, man, it's been a good time. I haven't tried to blow it up just yet with a website.
Yeah.
Because I figured if I run into this, head first like Marines do, I'm going to overwhelm myself. Because currently I'm working a job, doing school, and this leather stuff.
Yeah.
So if I do if this runs off on me, I've got to quit this one, which isn't going to hurt me. You know, me and my wife get disability, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want it to be on my time as well, because there's still a lot to learn with this business stuff, and I'm wanting to kind of take it slow.
Yeah.
But within this year, within the next 6 months, I'll have a website up, and I'll probably have to leave what I'm doing now to do it. And I was scared of it at first. I won't lie. I was scared of it. I'm scared of being successful. Is that stupid?
No, I think it's a valid fear.
Dude, it's scary. I'd rather.
It's what we were talking about earlier.
I'd rather
the
deploy.
recluse side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'd
the
rather
recluse
deploy,
side.
bro.
Dude, I totally relate to this. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But it's so true. JJ and I were talking about that. It's like that fear of the unknown. It's very beneficial, but when you're creating something, content, whatever it is, I think that's the barrier to entry. Is like, oh, dude, this can be popped out there in the public.
Yep. And somebody's gonna see it.
Somebody's
gonna recognize my face.
Or my face. It doesn't matter. But the point is, that's the barrier to entry, and you know what? Like I said, we were talking about this earlier. I said there's a lot of guys that I think would have had the capability to do this.
Yeah.
And they just have the knack for it.
They do. And you know, since I've done this, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a billionaire by doing any of this. I'm not even a millionaire or a thousandaire or whatever. Right now, I'm just doing kind of small custom orders here and there. Yeah. But it's practice. It's perfecting a craft. And
you could tell from that wallet to that wallet, you could tell the detail. And
that's one thing that I want everyone else that's watching that wants to do their own thing, just jump.
Yeah.
It's scary as hell. Just jump. It's the same thing as the deployment. You have to go.
Or enlisting, yeah.
Yeah, or enlisting. You're having to go. If you sign the line, you have a date, right?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Just jump. You got to do it. You know what I mean? So what's holding you back? That's why I'm doing this website soon, and it's taken a while because we're designing it still. And
dude, when it comes time for that, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not even time for you. You know, when you're ready to start developing that, I love business.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need any help with that for sure. Like I'm genuinely.
I'll definitely reach out.
Advertising, marketing, any of those components. Yeah. So yeah, you're doing this business, and I think it's so amazing, especially looking at the craftsmanship, if you can call it that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Leatherwork. Craftsmanship is a little bit different than leatherwork.
Yeah, I think I've heard it leatherwork, leathersmith, whatever.
Yeah,
I hurt my feelings.
I think it's quite amazing. The detail that's in some of your newer stuff is kind of crazy. Again, I do believe in promoting veteran businesses, and I want to see them succeed. So yeah, one of the things you do keep off the podcast is politics. But what is this is more for me? I think I don't know if this will even make it on the air, but what is your religion? What do you believe? Like, what's your guiding force?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. So, all right. We don't go to church.
Okay.
But we have Bibles at the house, and we teach the kids with the questions they have. There's 6. You know, when they ask questions, we answer them, and if we can't answer them, guess what? We go to the Bible. I have an issue with church just because of. You and I both know what one person says can be radicalized into something else. We've fought that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I struggle with churches. I haven't found one that I trust, and I haven't found a pastor that I trust. So that's not God's fault. That's my own personal stuff that I probably have to work out with him. But yes, we're Christian. If we can find a church, absolutely. I'd love to take my kids there. But as of now, we're the ones doing a lot of the teaching. And I'm very open-minded when it comes to God and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
I'll just personally say it's funny, we were joking about this on our drive out. We're doing, again, for anybody that's just tuning in, we're doing this Texas tour, right? We started in Dallas. We flew into Dallas, rented a car, by the way, which is a Chrysler minivan.
Oh, shit, you're in a minivan?
Yeah.
Boy. All right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun, but it's disalarming for some, for a lot of particular reasons. It's people don't expect it,
No, they don't.
which is good. It works. They're like, oh, Miles gonna be driving that. No, it's Mark. How you doing?
Yeah.
Welcome to Texas.
Yeah,
You clearly, yep. No, that's crazy that you're saying that you can't find the church. We were joking about this, which is like, it seems like on the main highway or on the main strip, there's more church. Like every other block seems to be a church. So what is that for you?
What it is for me is that every time that we've gone to a church so far is that what I've read in the Bible and what I interpret as what a Christian should be.
Ain't doing that.
It ain't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of, they'll shake my hand, but not my wife's hand. Then there's, I'll get those like, "How you doing?" looks, and there's a lot of that. I'm not gonna name the churches or anything, but it honestly, and a lot of the pastors are just hard to trust, man. And that's part of me and my dealings that I've been praying about and stuff. I don't think I'm doing my family a disservice by not going to church, but I think I'm doing myself and them a service of not just blindly going.
Yeah.
And I've even been to churches where they've preached about certain stuff, and it's not what's in the Bible.
That's facts.
It's scary.
That's 100% true.
Because what's the difference between that and the radicalism we're seeing overseas?
Ooh, yeah.
And that might be part of the whole political thing, but that's what scares me, is how easy those people over there can be radicalized. And then just by a book and someone reading out of it, their interpretation. It's scary to me, and I don't want my children to fall victim of it. Yeah. I don't want me to fall victim of it. That's a reason I don't do drugs. I've got an addictive personality, all right? If I have an addictive personality, whatever you might say, I might be able to go along with. So if that's the case, then I need to really do my due diligence. I need to do my research, and I need to go maybe by myself a few times, and then, start making the accountability moves for my family to come along, make those logistical turns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
No, I definitely get that.
But the other issue that I'm seeing too, to be honest with you, brother, is the fact that the places that I have gone to, the men's groups that I have gone to, I know more of the Bible. And this isn't like a...
It's not a dick measuring contest.
Yes. I have known... Yes, there we go. I know more about the scriptures that they're talking about than they do. Yeah. And that concerns me, because how long have you been going to this church? 5 years?
Yeah.
2 years? That terrifies me because, the perfect example of this is firearm training. I carry a gun every day.
Yeah.
I depend on that gun and myself to protect me and my family. My family is super important to me. I need to make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
I train as often as I can. I go shoot when I can. Why aren't we doing that as Christians? That's what I don't understand, is that why aren't we taking that as serious as I take my firearms training?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand bringing up a new topic. Okay, cool. I'm going to bring up this new topic, but you know what? I'm going to go read this scripture about 3 or 4 times this week, so that way I can really break it down. And then next time we come back, I'm going to be like, well, hey, what if he's meaning by this way? And then if somebody counters that, well, okay, hang on, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's
the same thing as every time I put my gun on in the morning, I practice draw a couple of times throughout the house before I leave. I got to make sure it's going to work.
Yeah.
I got to have that confidence. Why aren't we doing that, as churchgoers? You know what I mean? That's what scares me, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what terrifies me. And I don't even go to church. And I feel like out of a church, I have a stronger connection with God. Now, hey, look, if I can find one that I can trust, that I feel like I can bring my family to, oh, absolutely. We'll be there every Sunday. Mm-hmm. Every Wednesday night, if they got a Wednesday night thing, absolutely, dude. I'm never going to deny them of that.
Yeah.
It's just a difficult time. I'm trying to weed out the weak, I guess, if that makes sense.
I think it will come. You just got to be looking for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I just joined a small group.
And you're getting more out of that small group than you have in a big church, right?
Dude, 100%.
Oh, my God. You can just talk about it.
You could just
Because it could be just me and you sitting right here.
I can't talk about everything. I mean,
Okay.
that's yeah.
But okay.
But I could talk about a lot of things.
But you should be able to at some degree. I've made some shit mistakes, and I've talked about them. I've talked about them with the people I made the mistake with.
Yeah.
At some point, and not saying that everybody has to do that, but in my situation is probably more than likely different than most. But I feel like I can die with no regrets at this point. I'm getting fucking old, buddy.
Yeah, well,
my knees can feel it. You made me run so fucking much, my knees feel it.
don't blame anybody but yourself. You could have said no. Dude, it's been such a great time. The reason why I do want to end this now is because I just want to shoot the shit with you, and I don't want any repercussions, anything. I think we've been
nothing we can
pretty
hold
good
against us here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we could talk about a lot of things. I think it's been so good. I'm excited to see what this next chapter brings for you, and I think in the future, when this airs, I think you'll actually have your website up, and we'll 100%. Detail those links in the description, all that stuff.
100%.
But, dude, it's been such a pleasure just talking to you.
Dude, absolutely.
When I was going through my list in my mind, like, okay, if I'm doing this thing, I need to have boom, 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 and you're like at the top there.
Hell
you're
yeah.
just one of those real ones. You speak it like it is.
It's not gonna lie, man. What does that get me?
I hope you enjoyed everything you've seen up to this point. Just two vets going back, back and forth.
I'm back in time.
I think we're a little over 2 hours. I don't even know. But, yeah, it's been a great time. Hopefully get a lot more guys coming on the Moto podcast and we can have these conversations. And I'm looking forward to you being able to listen to it and be like, dude, I want to hear that story. Or I want to hear – that's the hope. It was great talking, and I'm looking forward to this pool hall we're about to go to. Cheers. That was my conversation with Dalton O'Brien. If you're interested in supporting him, go to etsy.com/shop/Reds Custom Goods. That's REDSCUSTOMGOODS. Reds Custom Goods. Thank you for tuning in. Stay Moto.